weeks ago, I put out an All Points Bulletin on Facebook looking for a recipe for chicken San Francisco from Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh, North Carolina. From the Belk's department store, they had their little fine dining restaurant called the Capitol Room, and it was a great place to go eat like on Sunday or if you were shopping with your mom. This was way before food courts. And I got a ton of replies back to my request for the recipe. They were all different. Some of them were really fancy, some of them were really simple. So I put them together with one that I found of my own from way back in the 80s and 90s, and this is what I came up with. And it smells really good. So I'm hoping it is very good. Please stay tuned and watch how I make it, and then please try it and let me know what you think. This recipe is a copycat version, mine, from the Capitol Room. There have been two different names at Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh, where I worked right before Vince and I got married. And this is a dish that we all grew up eating when we were little kids. I think they even had it at the K&W, which was the cafeteria where the old people went to eat. Anyway, it's a really, really good dish, and everybody from Wilson knows what it is when I say who has a recipe for chicken San Francisco or San Francisco chicken, and I have no idea what the San Francisco has to do with any of it, but I hope you'll like it. So I'm going to get started on my version, which is probably not the real thing, but it was the best I could come up with. So I'm just going to grease, slightly spray a grill pan. You can use a frying pan. And what I've done is I've marinated 2 pounds of chicken tenders in ranch dressing, of all things. Ranch dressing is indigenous to Wilson, North Carolina. I don't think anybody had any other kind of dressing when we were growing up, and that's just what we do. So I made it a Wilson thing. So I'm just going to grill these until they're done. I think you could put them on a baking sheet, bake them. You could also put them on the grill outside. The ranch dressing is just going to make them a little bit tender. I marinated these overnight, but you could do it for maybe 4 hours or less. You just want the chicken to get a little tender and a little flavor. This is going to take probably 10 minutes or so. So the chicken is cooked all the way through. If there's a little piece of pink in there, it's okay, because you're going to put this in the oven also and it's going to bake a little bit more. So this dish is kind of easy to assemble. Back in the day, we used rice pilaf or maybe even rice-a-roni, which could be where the San Francisco thing came from. I don't know. But I'm using a blend of wild rice, and I've gone ahead and cooked it. And I did enough for 6 servings. I figure with 2 pounds of tenderloin pieces, this should be a good amount. So I'm going to spray a casserole dish. And then I'm going to add my rice. I've cooked the rice in a little bit of chicken broth, and I added some onion and chives to it for seasoning. I didn't do a lot of salt and pepper, because I think with the sauce and the cheese, this dish is going to be seasoned well enough. And you can always add salt and pepper in the end. Spread this out in my casserole dish. And then I'm going to top it with our cooked chicken pieces. I think this is about 15 pieces, 15 chicken tenders. And figure about 2 per person, maybe 3 for a guy. Back in the day, it was a whole chicken breast. Like you would have your rice with a piece of chicken on top, with a broccoli spear on top, with the cheese sauce on top, with cheese on top of that, and then bacon and almonds. So I've just changed it up a little bit. Get all my chicken in there. Then I'm going to add some broccoli. Like I said before, it used to just be 1 broccoli spear, but I've taken some broccoli florets and chopped them a little bit and then steamed them. And I'm just going to put these over the top. I think it's just easier to eat when they're little pieces like this. And now for the sauce, which absolutely makes it old school. One can of cheddar cheese soup and 1 can of cream of chicken soup. You can make a cheese sauce. I wouldn't recommend Cheese Whiz or anything like that, though I think that's been used before. I'm just going to mix these two together. The cheddar soup is too much on its own, and the cream of chicken soup is too little on its own, flavor-wise, so mixed together, it should be perfect. I'm kind of making this up as I go today, trying to do it from memory, but I haven't had the real deal since I left Raleigh, and that was in 1991, so it's been a while. And I know that they don't even serve, there's not a Capitol room in the mall anymore now that we have food courts and all. It was kind of cool back when I was a kid, because you could just go eat it at Belk's. It's kind of fine dining in the mall. Anyway, so there's my sauce. I'm gonna spread it over the top. So I have an oven preheating 350 degrees, and all I'm going to do when we finish is just put this dish in there long enough for everything to warm all the way through, because it's all fully cooked, it just needs to be hot. Get it to the edges. Okay, so now for the good stuff. I have 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. I use sharp because I always use sharp. Spread this evenly over. And then earlier, I cooked a pound of thickly sliced bacon, and I've crumbled it. I'm gonna put that on the top. And then again, in keeping with tradition, I have a half of a cup of toasted sliced almonds. You could use slivered, but sliced are the ones that we used to use back in the day. And you can use between 1/4 cup, 1/3 cup, 1/2 cup. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just gonna end up using about 1/3 of a cup. So my oven is hot. I'm gonna pop this in, and I'll see you back in here, maybe 30 minutes. And here it is. This is my version of Chicken San Francisco from Belk's department store at Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh, North Carolina, back in the 80s and 90s. I hope my Wilson friends and my North Carolina friends will try my version and give me some feedback. It looks good, and it smells good, and it's too hot to eat. So I'll have to wait and taste it tonight when Vince gets home. Happy cooking.
If you'd like to see more recipes like this, please subscribe. For complete ingredients and cooking instructions and to purchase cookbooks, visit cateringbydebbycovington.com.